Hey everybody, I have some big TV news that I just had to talk about. Leah Remini has been cast to play a conservative lesbian in a middle America comedy that's going to air on Fox. And people say there isn't a God, or that God is dead. No, we're actually going to talk about a little picture here. Discovery. So the showrunners have been kicked out. Alex Kurtzman is going to take over. So Aaron Harberts, which is kind of a funny name, and Gretchen Berg have been kicked off of a showrunning position for Star Trek Discovery. They took over for Brian Fuller, who got fired before the show even went to air. They came in, and maybe, according to some people, you could say that they are the reason, or that replacement is kind of the reason that the first season was so disjointed. And if you guys are familiar with the channel or know my perspective on the show, I did not like Star Trek Discovery's first season. I thought it was a pretty horribly written season of television. So the one thing we had going into season 2 is that, well, they're going to have to improve in season 2, right? Maybe now that they're all settled, everyone knows what they're doing, the writing staff is in place, they don't have to sort of flesh out Fuller's ideas that they didn't really care for. Maybe we'll go somewhere with this. Maybe they'll be able to improve and focus on good storytelling again. Well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So they were fired for, I've done some highlighting around here. According to a producer over there on what is this? Who says this? CBS Television Studio said, "We made some producer changes at Star Trek Discovery. Series continues under the creative vision and leadership of executive producer and co-creator Alex Kurtzman. Remains on course for season 2 in 2019 with new and continuing stories that build on the successful premiere season." So, a couple of factual statements and then a little bit of a lie at the end. But Kurtzman has been there since the start. He has been doing movies and TV for a long time. He's one of those people that's never particularly highly regarded. He is more of a... he makes stuff that people want to see, despite the quality, I guess would be the way to think about it. I always think of him as that kind of a producer. He's someone who will make something that a lot of people tune into, but it's not really stuff that... turns the critical dial up on any level. And so Aaron Harberts and Gretchen Berg are out. Sources say the decision to oust Berg and Harberts was based not on creative, but instead for leadership and operational issues, which kind of makes sense. This article is funny. It's a lot of like Hollywood rumor mongering and sort of like bullshit that we'll get into, but apparently they're let go not for their creative issues, because anytime someone talks about the problems with this show, it's never about the actual problem, which is the quality of the writing. It's about budget issues and team leadership issues. So sources say that the budget for the season 2 premiere ballooned and the overages are expected to come out of subsequent episodes from the sophomore season. Insiders also stressed that Berg and Harberts became increasingly abusive to the Discovery writing staff, with Harberts said to have leaned across the room. I love this. He leaned across the writer's room table and shouted an expletive at a member of the show's staff. Clay has made the joke that he probably said, "What the fuck is Deep Space Nine?" If you guys have been listening to the podcast, you might get that joke. Multiple writers have said that they are uncomfortable working on the series and have threatened to file a complaint with Human Resources or quit altogether. So, not to make light of workplace abuse, this one seems like this is not on the level of a Harvey Weinstein or the guy who runs CSI New Orleans or whatever, sexually harassing writers on the staff. This seems... I don't know. I find this sort of laughable. It seems like they also didn't have a good opinion of the other. Akiva Goldsman was also let go because the writing staff didn't like him. I'd have more sympathy if the writing staff had turned out something good, I think. It feels like I'm being sort of flippant about this, but it's like, it's just kind of laughable, the whole situation, that they just can't lock down a team to write this. And it's such an important franchise for CBS and everything. Like, you think they'd just be able to pull this together, and instead it's this poorly written show with all this background drama, and they're overspending and the episodes aren't coming out good. And so I guess, you know, after I get through laughing at this whole situation and saying like, well, we'll have to see what season 2 happens here. I started this by saying that season 2 was probably going to be an improvement, or we would have thought it would have to be an improvement. Now I think it's going to probably be an improvement, but it's also going to be a big step back here. So if they spent a lot of their money in the first 5 episodes, which are the ones that Harberts and Berg have finished producing at this point, they'll probably still be credited on the first 5 episodes of season 2. The writing staff is taking a planned hiatus. They call it a planned hiatus to regroup. So going forward, you're going to have to save a lot of money on the episodes after this, which will probably result in a lot of bottle episodes, which I'm torn about whether or not that'll be good. The bottle episode should hopefully slow down the pace of the show, which in season 1 was absurd and like over the top comical and how quickly paced everything was. If they're forced to do bottle episodes that'll kind of slow everything down, hopefully that'll mean something. Hopefully it doesn't end up in just a mirror universe version of a bottle episode where we go to the mirror universe or something, some kind of equivalent, and we just stay there for 5 episodes and nothing actually matters, nothing comes of it. They just throw twists at us. Hopefully they give them some kind of character work to do. That would be nice if the show slowed down, gave characters something to do, you got to know them. The episodes were a little bit more introspective, thoughtful, slower paced. Maybe that would be a good upside to it. The bad side is if it sticks to the mirror universe type stuff and the bottle episodes are just the Netflix problem of if you have 13 episodes but you only have 7 episodes worth of story, the middle episodes of Netflix shows are always super slow and boring, and that would be the downside here of what might actually happen. And the consistency of the show is going to be a hit. They've replaced the main showrunner, so Kurtzman's going to step in and become the showrunner and lead the writer's room. Berg and Harberts were the ones who were there before. Whenever you replace someone in the middle, it usually turns out differently. They can't go back and reshoot. There's no budget for that kind of thing. The first 5 episodes are pretty much done. They've already overspent on them. They're not going to get more money to go back and fix things up. So we'll see. An inconsistent first season, hopefully, or second season, maybe. The first season was inconsistent. Maybe second season will improve, but certainly not good. What do you guys think? I'm interested. What do you think about Fuller stepping down, leading to these two right here, leading to this guy over here? These pictures are goofy as hell, too. But this is a Hollywood Reporter story. I don't know. It's kind of sad. I don't think it means very good. It's not very good news for the series going forward, which, you know, if it was a better show, maybe I'd be more upset. But really now it's just, I take the opinion that it's all kind of laughable. And this is just really goofy. And also, don't ever lean on the table while you yell an expletive at somebody, because that's inappropriate. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about where Discovery's going to go in the second season, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing that the creators have been changed, all that stuff. Anyway, thank you. See ya.